Welcome back. I have a high taper tutorial. Here I come in with my trimmers face down to make that first guideline. I grab my shavers and the closer I get to that line, I try to be soft. Here I come in with my clipper open, lever open, midway, and then completely close to erase that bottom line. And I'll sometimes play with the lever until that line is completely gone. Here I grab my trimmers with the corners, just detailing, making sure that bottom line is completely erased. Here I grab my number one all the way open, and I'll try to set in a guideline as best as possible, midway and then completely closed. Here I grab my half guard, same thing, lever open, midway, close, and then sometimes you gotta play with that lever until you get that line out. Here just detailing. Here I grab my number 2.5 all the way open, same thing, trying to get debulk all that. So here I come in with my 1.5 guard, lever open, midway close, same thing, just working under that number 2 guard. And you can see that that fade is coming together pretty nicely. So here I grab my number 1 open with the corners, um, lever open, midway close, and I'm just detailing since that number 1 was already there. So here, same steps on the other side. Start off with my trimmers. And the reason why I start off like that, just so you don't go in with make a harsh line. Here I grab my shavers. Here I grab my clipper, lever open, same steps. Lever open, midway close until that bottom line is completely erased. So here I grab my number 1 lever open, midway close, and I go up about an inch, repeating the same steps as the other side. Here I grab my half guard and same steps, lever open, midway close, and I try to use the corners of the blade and just detail. So on this side, I grab my number 3 guard just to be safe, and same thing, lever open, midway close, just trying to be careful with the longer hair on top. And I like to fade down just because it just that's something I like to do. It just kind of puts the fade together, um, and you slowly just start seeing the transition happening instead of always creating lines going up and taking the fade too high. So that's one of my ways I like to fade. This is my 1.5 guard, lever open, midway close. And you can just see that the fade just starts coming together. Here I grab my number one, same step, lever open, midway close. And sometimes you just have to play with the lever. So here I grab my master's clipper with my number two guard, and I just going down in the front, just debulking that front hairline so it's not too bulky, and give them a nice sharp crisp lineup. I always like to start in the middle and then work left to right or right to left. Um, just sets that nice foundation for me. I know some guys like to start on the corners and then work in the middle, um, but that's just my preference. Start in the middle and then go sideways. If you're ever in Miami and are shopping at the Miami Design District, this young fella right here works at Louis Vuitton, and just let him know. You've seen him on YouTube and you know his barber. But all jokes aside, here I go in with my masters. And I'm just detailing. So here we are doing the back taper. Um, Lever open. Same steps as the sides. Here I grab my number one guard, lever open, midway close. Here I grab my half guard, lever open, midway close, and just going at it until I see that line faded out. Here I grab my number three guard or two guard and just trying to debulk that and being careful with the longer hairs on top. That was a two actually. So here I go with my number 1.5 guard. Same thing, just fading down. This client right here has one of the hardest back tapers. His hair grows everywhere. That middle part grows sideways, the sides grow up. It's crazy, but we'll get it done. Here goes with my number one, lever open, and just working that line, corners. You can see I go in different angles to try to get this accomplished. here I go right back into it, just detailing a little bit. And here's a haircut. High taper, curly top. He gets the top braided. And yeah, thank you for watching.